Welcome to Bring Out Your Badass Self, a movement to break your negative thoughts and habits and instead focus on building each other up and encouraging fearless authenticity.
Each week, we will get vulnerable and share experiences alongside our guests and audience. Come rediscover your inner badass self.
Good morning, badasses. As you can see, I am without Kate this morning. She had some family things she needed to attend to. But I have a great panel that is going to be joining me today. And I just wanted to first just come on, say hello to everyone and wish them an amazing Friday. Because today we're going to be shifting gears. We're going to rev up our energy with radical change. And we have two individuals that are going to be joining us today. And we're going to be talking about how do we shift gears? And so when you think about things in your life related to your career, related to professional, think about the things that you've had to do to be able to shift gears to get out of whether that's that negative energy or feeling stuck or feeling like, I just don't know the steps forward and how it is that I'm going to get to wherever it is that I'm trying to get to. So that's really what we're going to be talking about today. I also just want to share with you guys that this week I had an amazing experience. Yesterday, I presented with 3 other panelists and had an amazing moderator, Eric Keynes, who drops in, and hopefully he'll drop in today as well. He was the moderator, and then I was joined by 3 individuals with SMPS. It was something that was in the works for about a year. I had proposed it about a year to the SMPS Atlanta group on being able to talk to people in the industry that had been there, had done that, had gone through things in their career and how it is that we got to where we were at in leadership. And one of the things that was amazing to me was just listening to each of the stories from each person and how different they were, but then also how there were common themes throughout each of our presentations and the things that we talked about related to our lives. And the common themes had to do really, I just felt like it encompassed BOYBAS. It had to do with overcoming fear. It had to do with just doing it and figuring things out and finding a community of people that you can go talk to. It had to do with also focusing on how it is we give back, how it is that we share with others. And so it was just an amazing panel to be able to be a part of. And I just wanted to, if they end up seeing this or as they continue, maybe as they join, just to say thank you. It was something that was in the works for a year and was just an amazing experience. And I really just loved doing it. So I do see you guys coming in. So let's say hello. Good morning, Myra. Happy Friday to you. And she said, love you, my friend. I love you too. Hope you're doing well in Tennessee. It's great to see you. Carmen, coming in from California. She's always up early for us. Good morning, my beautiful badass amiga, sorry. Having an amazing show. Love your smile, be your umbrella. Ooh, I love that. Thank you so much, Carmen. Jen coming in. She says, good morning, badasses. Sending love and sunshine from Florida. Listening while I can while working, and have a great show and an awesome weekend. Thank you, J. Rowe. It's so good to see you. Miss Kim's also coming in. Good morning. It's one of my favorite, amazing, and beautiful badass ladies. Back at you, girl. I hope you're doing well this Friday. And, we're looking to start Friday off and get you guys motivated for the weekend to have an amazing Monday. And so with that, I'd like to bring up our panel. So give me just a second. I have Melissa and Seth joining us. And so Seth Harrison is a superintendent at Skiles Group, and he's also a co-host of the Build the Culture podcast. And then we have Melissa Smith, who is a project manager at H.J. Russell's and company. And little did I know they knew each other. So this morning I was like, do we need to do an introduction? And they were both like, nope, we know each other. I was like, oh. And so we said it's a small world, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So me and Melissa met through a mutual friend. I didn't meet her out at this project, but we've partnered with each other before, Skiles Group and H.J. Russell, many a time on Methodist project. But no, we've met through a mutual friend. Let's call it what it was. It was a party, and no, got to know her there, and then we've also been to several Texo events, which is a big thing here in Dallas Fort Worth. So, so yeah, we've known each other for, I'm gonna say going on a year, even though it was probably January this year, but we're gonna say it was a year.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Well, okay, I'm just joining the party then. So you guys have been partying without me, so now I'm joining in.
Well, Sarah, we'll make sure, since you're so accustomed to virtual, we'll FaceTime you the next time we're at a party.
Perfect. I love that. I love that. Awesome. Well, let's do some official introductions. And so, Melissa, how about you start us off? Give a little bit of who is Melissa? Maybe on the professional side, the personal side, just a little bit of information about you.
Yes, my name is Melissa Smith, and as you said, I'm a project manager. Been in the construction industry for over 10 years now. And yes, I did actually go to school for this. Not an engineer or an architect, but spent the past 10 years in the industry, and what has made me stay was being able to treat each project like its own business. And I have a little entrepreneurial bug I can't stop scratching. So most of the time I need to sit down somewhere, but I am looking for that next opportunity, which we might touch on today. So but that's me. I tend to tinker quite a bit, and I can be a little disruptive sometimes. So I think this field fits me pretty nicely. Learned a lot of things and met quite a few people like Seth and Sarah through it. But yeah, it's been pretty good. So I'm looking forward to the conversation.
I love it. Well, I'm a bit of a disruptor myself, so I like the figuring out how to not deal with status quo in life. So I like that topic. So we might even jump into that today. And so, Seth, give us a little bit of background to you.
So, Seth Harrison, been with Skiles Group going on next month will be 11 years. Been in the industry for, that would put me at almost 19. So for me, I grew up with construction, so I could say I've been in it my whole life. Like, one of my earliest memories was my dad was on the residential side, and I was sitting down on the ground with a 2x4 and a hammer. I don't think he gave me nails. He might have, but just hitting a 2x4 with a hammer for funsies, right? That's like one of my earliest memories. But for me, in this industry, I'm not going to say I'm a disruptor. I'm more of a diffuser. So for me, not everything's perfect, but getting it, I don't want to say getting it closer to perfect, but calming everyone down, getting everybody's head on straight, because we got a task at hand and we got to make it. So
I love that. We need diffusers as well. We need those individuals that come in and also go, all right, what do we have in common? What do we need to do to bring things together? So we need that type of energy in life as well. So I love that. Both of you are hitting upon really today's topic already, just with your introductions. When you think about the word disrupt, you're changing the energy. You're transmuting, which is really the topic that we're talking about this entire month, is transmuting energy. So disrupting changes the energy, and diffusing is figuring out a different way to move that energy as well. So I love both of those words. They're really hitting upon today's topic. So I'm excited about that. We do have some other individuals joining us as well. I want to say hello to, so Lisa, hello, beautiful badasses. Hello to you, Miss Lisa, as well. And then we have Rocio. I think that's how I met her, let's see, back when it was Megan's conference down in Savannah. And so she says, good morning. Nothing like a good party to connect. Yes, absolutely. And then she also said, we like disruptors. All right. We love that. And so thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, I keep hitting that thing twice for some reason. All right. And so today, as we talked about, we're going to be getting into understanding a little bit more about how life's curveballs, are thrown at us, and we turn those things into opportunities, or how it is we rebalance energy. And I can already tell today that we're going to be talking about it in a badass way. That you guys are coming at it in different ways, and maybe we might also find some commonalities as well. It's always interesting how people come at things sometimes from a different way, but really there's also a lot of commonality there as well. So what I would like to do is first start in with maybe things related to change. So in what ways have you had to adapt your approach to life or even work in response to external changes? Anybody want to take that one first?
Seth, you can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I feel like this has been my entire life. So I'll give you a little bit more background. I saved it for this. So I joined the National Guard right out of high school. So with that, on the military side of things, everybody's throwing curveballs at you left and right, and everything just seems silly. Like the most ridiculous tasks that they can think of, they got you doing, right? And you really gotta, it forces you to have to think different, because you have to do this task. You don't have a choice. There's repercussions if you don't. And you just have to, I don't want to generalize it, but you're having to take what sucks and spin it and make it fun, right? So you have what I loved about the military is the camaraderie. You make so many friends, and no matter how much something sucked, you had your buddies there, and y'all could make a game out of it. You could just completely, as you say, as we're talking about, transform it into something completely new. So, for instance, I'm going to go back to 2016. 2016, I married my lovely wife, Kami, and we go about 4 months, and I get a call, and they say, we want you to go to Kosovo. So I ended up being in for about 12 years. So they're like, we want you to go to Kosovo. And I was like, volunteer or mandatory? And they're like, this is volunteer right now. I was like, why don't you go around the block, ask a few more people, come back to me if no one goes. People went. A few more months go by, and this is actually 2017 inauguration day at this point. Literally, not Trump's inauguration day, 2017. I get a call. Hey, we're going somewhere new. Can't tell you where yet, but we're going, and you have to go. Should have went to Kosovo. So I'm a newlywed. We're in our honeymoon phase, and I'm about to have to leave my wife for a solid, with training and everything, plus the deployment. You're looking at 10, 11 months. So, what I had to spin out of that was, okay, how this is only going to strengthen. This is only going to strengthen our relationship. I had to start thinking about it that way. Don't think about it as, I'm gone, we're missing time, because every day that I could, I'm on FaceTime or Skype, whatever was working that day, while I was gone, having conversations without, physically being there, because I'm going to be honest, back here, most of the time you sit, watch TV, and then you have a little bit of conversation. It's not as deep.
Mhm.
So really got to sit there and really build upon our relationship, because we got to really, really talk. So that was
Love
one
that.
of those nice life's curveballs.
Yeah, I love that. It also reminds me of, the things that we just went through in 2020, even with COVID. There were some people that chose to look at it as, oh my gosh, this is horrible, things like that. And our family looked at it as an amazing time. Like, we look back on it and go, man, I wish we could go back to that, because we ended up having a family that we just sat there and did meals together, and we played games, and we spent more time with our family and things like that. So it really is, I love that you're focused in on the adapting that, how you perceive or how you choose to perceive the situation. And that also allowed you to be able to gain even more, that deeper connection
Mhm.
with your wife based on that change. Do you think that you would have experienced that deepness with your wife had that not happened?
I would like to think so.
Okay.
But I can't say for sure, but I would like to think so.
Okay. All right. But it at least
She makes
that
me talk, so
okay.
so probably.
Sometimes we have a way of doing that. Melissa, what are your thoughts on this? And so, things that you have had to adapt your approach to life, or maybe even work in response to changes that have happened in your life.
Yeah, so when I think about that at work, it's a lot more. It's requiring a lot more humility. Like
Mm.
the more I go along in my career, um, rather than to take a stance of, all right, well, yeah, I could figure it out, or I could solve the issue, or I could give you a proper response right here and now. But um, it just takes more to be like, all right, this is a problem I just flat out cannot solve. I don't have the answer to it. So just taking the humility to be able to get with my team, whether that be a superintendent like Seth or whoever I do happen to have on our project team, and um, tap into the humility, and even getting trade partners in the room too, and just be able to solve different type of complex problems for an owner. Because what used to happen as I was younger in my career is the problems might come up or something I can't solve, and you sit on it,
Mm.
and you sit on it, and you sit on it because you don't know the answer. You're overthinking, whatever the case is. So it's a lot easier and a lot quicker. Just go ahead and be humble. Just be humble. You don't know it. You don't know it. Just go
Yeah.
ask the people that do. Um, and to be able to build those types of relationships with people you can always count on, or just get advice from, whether it's personal or professional. But that humility has been a big one for me. Just being able to attack different challenges and things in work. So
Yeah, because we don't always know everything in life, and none of us should really be expected to know everything.
no.
When you go to individuals about things, do they solve it for you, or do they ask you questions to be able to help you to solve it?
It really depends on the person. If it is something that I should be able to solve, or I'm kind of learning how to solve this new issue, they might try to coach me more than actually giving me the answer.
Okay.
Um, Usually, though, if it's field related, I kind of need to rely on our trade partners in order to solve it, come up with some creative solution, because this could be something we've never seen. So
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, especially as a project manager. I even think about us in technology. There's some things I know enough about, but like the details of like how it's coded or, those types of things, I'm like, that's for the experts. Like I know enough to bring in the experts on this type of situation. And I can imagine as a project manager, that is a lot of your job is trying to diffuse situations. People may be upset or things that are going on, from a client perspective, things like that. So we're going to Seth's word of diffusing situations and then trying to get those answers quickly from other people, and that external pressure of how do you shift that energy to them going, oh, okay, now everything's fine.
yeah, that's actually something that I'm still learning. I would say if I was ever in the room with Seth, I would lean on him a little bit more. But no, I really do think that that's something like just right now, currently in my career, that I'm seeing more and more of firsthand and learning more and more of how to resolve those things in real time. Because my natural reaction would just be, okay, well, I'm gonna let them handle it. But it's a lot more effective if I just take control of the room or take control of the conversation and help steer us toward a solution. So I wouldn't say that I'm the best at it or the greatest at it, but definitely learning and growing in that part.
I love that you at least recognize that, but you're also doing steps to figure out. And I think that early on in our careers, that's half of it, is being willing to step up and say, okay, here's the situation. Let's recap what it is that's going on. Is everybody in agreement of like, this is the problem? And then, okay, what do we suggest as a project manager? That's half of it, is just getting everybody on the same page. But I love that you're also saying, like, I don't have all of the answers. And I also don't, I'm still learning how to best do that. And I'll tell you, I'm 50. I'm still figuring out shit. So it doesn't change. As you get older, you get new stuff. It's just added to your list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we have a couple more people that have joined us as well that I want to say hello to. So Eric, he says, good badass morning. Thank you, Eric, for joining us. This is the Eric I was talking about. I was telling them, I was bragging about you, Eric. I was telling them how fabulous of a job you did moderating yesterday. He really just did an amazing job. So thank you for that. I also have a boss coming, and he says, humility isn't about putting yourself down. It's about staying grounded, teachable, and open. And when you're humble, you're more likely to listen, to learn, and grow. How does that resonate with you, Melissa?
Oh yeah, I feel that, being grounded. Yes, for sure. Because it could be a little bit like if you take on the wrong stance, the wrong mentality about it, it could be like, oh well, dang, I don't even know how to do my dang job. And that's not so much the case. It's just as you grow and get further along in your career, you have to learn how to conduct yourself and how to conduct or help your team conduct themselves as well too. So, I mean, it's I'm with that. I like it though. I like it. I like what you said.
Well, we also have Cigar Dip. I'm not sure. You seem to be a new person that has joined us. So thank you for joining us. And he said, the person said, this is great. I'm going to lean towards a male just because cigar, like less females do cigars. I don't know. Could be completely wrong. So thank you for joining us. And we also have Courtney joining us. Great commentary, Melissa. So thank you so much for joining us. I think, Courtney, this may be your first time as well. So welcome. So I love this, how things are starting off and the conversation we're having. Some of the things that we also look at is as we're looking at the possibilities in life. I want to talk a little bit more about opportunities and how you identify which opportunities are worth pursuing. And really it's evaluating in a world that seems to be constantly changing. So how do you decide which area you're going to go to, whether it's in work or whether it's in your personal life, but determining those opportunities that are worth pursuing.
You mind if I go, Melissa?
Yes, you can go ahead.
All right. So like the first thing you got to think about whenever an opportunity is presented to you in whatever form of fashion, whether it's professional or personal side. I'm gonna try to make this for both, but you really gotta look at how it resonates with you, with your values. You know, does it align with your moral compass? And I feel like that's where you got to start with it. Like in the long run, is this going to stay with me and how I want to be? I think that's the first thing you got to look at.
Yeah.
And then once you have that, you know, I don't want to say you just go for it, but there's things you could write. You know, you can do pro cons lists, you know, situations, you know, start diving a little bit deeper into it before you jump in. Something that we use on the professional side for us is CBAs, which is choosing by advantage. You know, you take, so you say your opportunity has multiple choices in it, you know, go down the list of why this option is better than this option. But you know, I'm not saying that once you go in and you feel like this opportunity aligns with you and you're going to chase it, that it's going to be 100% good for you in the, you know, overall in the end. You know, it can still, that pursuit could still end up being a bust. But it doesn't hurt to take chances on things, you know, and that's why you dive a little bit deeper in before you jump. So you can look at what the risk reward is. You know, it's definitely difficult to navigate, but for me, I think it starts with, does this opportunity align with my values? And if so, then I'll start that process and go, okay, I'll look into this. This could be a good thing. Because without that, to me, then it's not worth my time.
Yeah, I love that. We talk about that a lot on BOYBAS, about understanding your values in life and understanding where your no's are, where your yeses are. And I think that's huge in understanding the opportunities that you're seeking out. So you're very much resonating with a lot of the things that we really love in looking at life. Melissa, what are your thoughts here?
Yes, usually I'm the same too. When I'm looking at a different opportunity that might come my way, if it happens to be a business opportunity, I'm just really trying to understand what problem is it solving. Because that'll help me gauge, just with me making my own decision on, okay, what's the longevity of this, and is it a problem worth solving? And then apart from that is just really purely my interest level. Am I interested in it? Interested enough to actually dedicate time toward it, time, resources. And then my biggest kicker, or the two biggest, would be my gut, because my gut has not failed me yet in my spidey sense. But then apart from that too is prayer and the Holy Spirit. Like, is he steering me toward it, or is he telling me that's a flat out no, and you need to go sit down over there? So it's a culmination of all that, but to say it in one word would just be alignment. Like Seth said, it's really alignment for me.
Yeah, I love that. Intuition, I think the more people step into understanding more about what their intuition is really telling them. We talk a little bit also about fear versus intuition, because sometimes people will don't necessarily know how to distinguish between the two. And I don't know about you, but I find that if it's my intuition speaking, I feel a peace within me.
Yes.
If there's some type of flutter, it means there's still a lesson maybe to be learned, or
Mhm.
there's, it's not quite right. There's still something there. So it's still something to explore. What are both your thoughts on that?
So for me, even like I agree, like there's a lot that comes with your intuition, and then like I've hesitated on something before and even passed up on something because I hesitated, which then I look back and go, man, I should have done it, but even if you kind of stutter step or second guess something, I mean, again, it still doesn't mean that you shouldn't try it.
Mhm.
Still doesn't mean you shouldn't try it. But then that's where you got to start looking at, how much energy am I going to put into this?
Mm.
What can I allocate to go to this, because it's something that I'm not quite fully believing in right now. So, do I only put in 10% of my time to this to figure out if it is going to be worth it, or go all in.
Yeah. You hit upon some things there. So, still trying things.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I think a part of looking at energy, or the energy of shifting, it's the fear of taking that leap as well. And so that energy that you have, and the looking at it as it was, what did I learn from what it is that happened? So even if it didn't come to reality, the things that you thought that it was providing you, it's then reflecting upon it and saying, well, what did I learn from this? And how did that help me then for my next journey? Melissa, I can see you going, yes. What are you thinking on this?
Well, yeah, I've got a business in real estate investing, and I've done 2 flips, both of them affected by COVID. And because I started the business in 2019, but so I would say that that is one of the opportunities that I did a lot of research, and back during that time, I would be caught in analysis paralysis type situation, a lot of overthinking. And I decided to pull the trigger and did it. And here come this black swan. And so I never thought, oh, it wasn't for me. In fact, I said, well, let me go do it again, and still made some mistakes. So to me, like when I get into these types of opportunities, it like Seth said, you just got to keep trying. If it's something that you determine is worth your time, and sometimes you just determine, like you're saying, Sarah, that there's just lessons to learn, but they're lessons that I would not have learned had I not taken the opportunity.
Mm.
So even my criteria to say, yes, move forward, or no, this isn't the right opportunity, let's wait on the next property. These are still things that'll point to another direction or another opportunity in life. So, and also very critical and valuable lessons to learn throughout the rehabs for both. And figuring out what to do when you get hit with the black swan, getting creative. So,
Yeah, I love that. And one of the things that I've discovered is that the universe is trying to guide you, whether it's universe, whether it's God, whether it's source, whatever word you choose. I find that ultimately the universe wants the best for you. Your higher self wants the best for you. So it's trying to guide you. And sometimes it's the challenges you have to go through to learn to the lessons that you're needing for the next step. And I talked about this yesterday, that or actually maybe I posted about it. I went through a divorce, and the things that I ended up learning from that divorce allowed me to be able to focus in on me. It then allowed me to be able to set me up for success in my next marriage. And so sometimes it's the first person, unfortunately, may not be the right person, and that's okay as well. And I think that sometimes it's about, you also talked about the energy you put into it. You mentioned that as well, that sometimes we also learned that we didn't put enough energy into it, that we both were at fault. Like when things fall apart, it's not one or the other.
Right.
It's what happened in the relationship is both. No matter what the situation, whether it's a partnership in a business, whether it's a partnership in life, whether it's a friendship, what is it that both of us needed to maybe do more of in order to be able to make it successful? It's not a one or the other. It's what are we doing together to be able to make it successful? Because it's work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I also have a couple more people. Yesenia, happy Friday. Beautiful badass humans. Thank you, Yesenia, for joining us. We also have Nick joining us. Hello, great to be here. Thank you guys for joining us. We're just diving more into shifting gears and the things that we need to do to be able to shift our energy. And we're talking about opportunities and pursuits and things like that. And so how do you determine when it's time to let go of certain pursuits and redirect your energy elsewhere? As Elsa would say, let it go, let it go. What do you do to let it go?
Melissa, would you like to go first this time?
Sure, I can do that. I usually don't quit easy, and that's a little bit of a bad habit. So this is a very good question for me. But usually let it go when I think along the lines of at least opportunities. I think of what are my resources looking like? What are my resources telling me? And then whatever it is that's necessary in order to change the course of, all right, this is failing. All right, you're not doing so hot. Whatever is necessary in order for me to redirect that and to get it from the, let's say I'm in the red, to get me into the black. I look at what is that requirement, and is that requirement something I'm willing to do? Because every time I say yes to something, that's going to require a sacrifice. So not only do I want to say yes and do the activity necessary, but am I willing to, and am I also committed to that sacrifice? Committed to saying no to X, Y, and Z. Committed to saying, all right, so I'm gonna come home from work now. It's about to be 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and now we're gonna do more work up until 10, 11, 12 in the morning, whatever the case is. Am I committed to that sacrifice also? So, and if I'm saying no, I'd rather redirect my energy or my efforts and my focus into something different, then that's going to be the determining factor for me.
Yeah. Seth?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm pretty well aligned on that. Like if you're looking at something and the first thing you got to go is if something's failing or not panning out the way that you originally thought it was gonna go, you got to look at, is it because I'm not putting enough effort into it?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I putting so much effort into it that it's overextending it and that's why it's failing? But then you got to decide, if it, say you're not putting enough effort into it, like Melissa said, you got to decide, do I want to put more into it? And maybe I originally, whenever I was going to go for this, this pursuit, and I said, I can only allocate, 20% of my time to it, but really it needed 35 or 40% of your time. Can I still do that and make up for it? What am I sacrificing to make that happen? And that's something you got to decide, that if it's worth it or not. I mean, to keep it general and because right now nothing's really coming to my mind on an exact thing. You know what? I take it back. My podcast. How about that?
Yeah.
So mine and Thomas's podcast, that's something that, like, we decided, we were going to go, every 2 weeks have an episode. we thought we could do that. We're both superintendents. Our job is very time demanding. So we don't always get an episode out every 2 weeks. But that's okay for us. Like we're not looking to, blow up, as long as, 3-4 people listen and get something out of it, and it helps, helps the construction industry grow and put it in a better direction, then that's all I want out of it. That's all I want. So most of the time we may get one episode out in a month, and that's still fine. That's I'm not going to completely kill it off like, oh, we didn't make our 2 weeks. I'm done with this. Nobody's watching. Episode 10 has 1 view, whatever. No, hopefully that one person watched it, got something out of it that they could take and go on with it. And that pursuit I'm still willing to go and still try to get that, 20% that we decided that we could allocate to it outside of our jobs and our personal lives, and I'm still willing to go with that. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not going to kill me.
Yeah. Seth, tell people a little bit more about what your podcast is about, just so they can understand a little bit more.
All right. So myself and Thomas Hardy, we do a podcast called Build the Culture. What its focus is building a better culture on the job site, whether it's GC to trade partner relationships, how people are treated out on the job site. We at Skiles Group, we practice lean construction, and one of the pillars is respect for people. Right now, not every general contractor practices lean, but that doesn't mean that pillar shouldn't be first overall for every single company out there. And our goal is to, make more people aware of it, and like what you can do to kind of, change those negative behaviors that take place on projects. So.
Yeah, your podcast is really about shifting gears. I mean, it's the things that are going on in the industry. So it's even more, as I was thinking about it, I was like, oh, what you guys are talking about is truly the law of transmutation of perpetual energy. It is changing things in the industry, how it has been. So disregarding people's safety, understanding that it's the second highest suicide rate amongst professions. It's recognizing the things that are going on, and how do we shift that? How do we change the mindset, the culture of what it is? And I love the first pillar of it's about people. It's about caring about people. And I think that the more that we as a society, not just in construction, and that's really what we're also trying to do, is shift minds, is to realize that we can shift our society, we can shift our lives, we can shift the things that are going on by focusing on what we want versus what we don't want. So the more that we focus on these types of things, putting people first, the giving back, the all of the things that we want as a person ourselves, the more we focus on how it is we can do that for others, that's how we really shift the things that are happening in society as well.
Absolutely. That's so I'm as the superintendent on a project, I am the example for everyone that comes onto my site. And if I want that change to happen, I myself have to live it and really teach the others coming up around me, this is really how it should be. And that's what I love about my position and being out here, is that I get to talk about it, and hopefully it's getting out there, and then I get to live it every single day. Like I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else like right now.
You're hitting upon a really important topic of, maybe you can dive in a little bit more, and then I want to go to Melissa. What are some specific things that you have done, choices that you have made that have impacted the lives of those around you? And maybe how do you feel about that overall responsibility?
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of start off on I've made some poor choices that have affected my trade partners. It would affect my company. On a job site, just early in my career, because young, green, whatever you want to call it, and didn't know. I still don't know everything, but I make a little bit better informed decisions nowadays. But but that whenever you mess up and it affects somebody, it affects, let's just say I made a choice to move on something that we RFI'd and it's going to stop us, and maybe I made that choice to let's do this. This is in my experience the way it should end up going, and maybe I was still wrong, and then I just made my trade partner double up on work, and he's pissed off. I would it sucks. Like that feeling sucks, that you let somebody down, that you gave them direction to do something, and now they're doing more. I hate it. But on the flip side, whenever you do have those opportunities and you get to be right, and everything goes the way that it's planned, and you talk it out with your trade partners, going, hey, this is where my brain's at right now, are you aligned with that?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's on the same page, and then if we felled together, it's not so bad, right? It's like, we're all in the same boat. It sucks. Well, let's go out for some drinks after work today. It's on me. But what sucks is I never had any, like, whenever I made those decisions, I didn't have anybody in my boat, and I made those decisions for them, and it hurt them in the long run. Now, again, it's more rewarding whenever you have those guys in the boat. Maybe one of my favorite things is whenever trade partners come up with freaking brilliant ideas, and you're like, that sounds freaking amazing, let's do it. And then it works, and I start getting praise from the owner team, or the architect and engineers, and it's like, whoa, it was so and so, not my idea. Like, they came up with that, and getting to praise our trades for their ludicrous but genius ideas, is a really, really rewarding for me, because I'm a giver. I like to give, so I love that.
Yeah, you touched upon so many different things there, as far as sometimes we go at things alone, and sometimes we make choices that sometimes end up impacting other people. But when we go together, we're at least going to fail or succeed together. And sometimes that's the best scenario. It's like, okay, we both learned in this, instead of I made this choice and wow, ooh, shit, I just negatively impacted you. And now I've got to own up to that as well. So I love that you also owned up to that you're like, that was me. And you're also giving credit where credit is due, because I think that's also something in work, especially, that sometimes people are like, wait a minute, like, why is so-and-so getting the credit, and things like that. And that sometimes
No.
is an energy suck, as well, for other people as well.
Absolutely.
And Melissa, in your position as a project manager, I can imagine that you're dealing with a lot of choices, and those choices in who it is to go to and the things that need to be done, that your position could potentially impact a lot of individuals, not only the trade side, but also on the business side. So what are some of the things that you have done or choices that have impacted those around you, and how do you feel about that responsibility?
Okay, well, to talk about the responsibility, to be completely candid, I don't always want it. I don't care to have it, but it just so happens to be staring me in the face each and every day. So, more and more so, I just embrace that responsibility. But one of the instances I can remember, I was working on a project at DFW with one of our joint ventures, and uh, I remember making the assumption they had given me a task to do, to put together a report. It kind of works along the lines of waterproofing or quality control. And I did the task the previous week, and this week I didn't know if I was supposed to do it or not, but I made the assumption that, oh, well, they didn't say anything, so I guess I'm off the hook. And it's Friday. Late in the afternoon, they come and ask me about the report. And I'm like, oh, I didn't do the report. So I got to spend my Friday afternoon creating a report quickly, expediently, because it's due that day.
Wow.
So it's just kind of a testament of assumptions when you don't take the responsibility to communicate, or you fail to take that responsibility, just the repercussions of that. So even though it's a task or a part of your responsibility that you might not want to do, making the assumption that, nah, I don't have to do that, just because that's only going to shoot yourself in the foot. So again, I don't always embrace this responsibility that I get to have every day. However, I am learning to quickly, and even on a more personal side too. I notice, so I've got a responsibility for my daughter. I'm her mother, obviously, and when I think of that responsibility, just knowing that it's shoot, adulting, Sarah, you admit it, you're at this stage in your life and you're still trying to figure some things out and still learning.
Yeah.
Like adulting just in general on its own is difficult. So why would I compound that for her by me sitting up here folding my arms saying I'm not going to embrace something, I'm not going to grow, I'm not going to develop and get better and just figure out the ways of living that I should be doing at this age and stage in my life. So knowing that that only cripples her as a 7-year-old is also motivation for me to just suck it up and let's go.
Yeah. You hit upon a topic that's near and dear to my heart. So I have a 14-year-old daughter, and then I have 2 bonus kids. And one of the things that I found as a parent is that we aren't perfect. And we also need to own up. And that's also important, to be able to own up to the things that you may have done in the heat of the moment. Maybe we didn't do the things we needed to do, be able to control our anger, or control the things that we said, or whatever it might be. We then need to go back and transmute that energy. We need to go, you know what? I'm reflecting upon the things that I said, and owning up to that with your kid, because that teaches them, oh, someone else has made a mistake. It welcomes them to also understand that they can make a mistake and they can come back and have that conversation and say, okay, maybe my actions, now as I've reflected, weren't as good as they could have been. I'm curious how you guys also think when someone comes to you and they say, I made a mistake. Do you find that you still are like upset and need some time to sort of deal with like the things that of how you feel? Or do you And also, do you sit upon it and do you never transmute it? And the reason I'm saying this is one of the things that I'm dealing with my daughter is that she's like, I'm still mad about my friend that did XYZ. And I'm like, okay, but who is that impacting in life? Like, do you think your friend's still worried about that? You know, that's something for you. So I'm curious, how do you deal with people that have maybe done things wrong, and then how do you deal with that negative energy that you feel about that?
So I don't want to make it sound like it's just an easy thing to do, but as a superintendent, I need to know when something's not right.
Mm-hmm.
And if I act any other way than being accommodating to them whenever they bring me this information and go, let's figure it out. If I am any other way, they're not going to want to bring me bad news ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, I'm going, damn it. But
you can say it here. We say all kinds of words.
You know, like in my head, you know, I'm probably cussing 1,000 different ways, but you know, to my partner, I'm going, okay, give me the facts. What do we got? What's messed up? Do you have any solutions? And if they don't, then we'll work through it from that point. But for me, it's doing my best not to show that negative energy whenever something negative is coming in, not letting it reflect, which sometimes it's hard to do depending on how bad it is. But you know, just doing the best I can not to react in a negative way. Because I'll never have, if something happens again, they're going to try to hide it. They're going to try to do their own fix that may not be the right way. And they're not going to have anybody in the boat with them. And then whenever it gets found out, it's just going to be that much worse.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It is one of the things I've also talked to my daughter about, is that I need to be that safe space for her, that when she makes a mistake, she feels comfortable coming to me so I can help her. And I've even given her particular scenarios, very explicit, like, you did this and like that could be really bad and you feel really bad, like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done that. But you did it anyways. I need for you to feel comfortable, like you won't get in trouble. One of the things I've told her is, if I find out after the fact, you're going to get in trouble. But if you come to me and say, hey, this is a mistake I made, and work with me so I could help you to not make a further mistake, that's what I want. And I think that that's important even with our employees as well. It's like, look, we're going to have to deal with the consequences together in this, but just know that I think everyone makes mistakes. It's when you continue to make the mistake, maybe like you haven't learned it. We got to deal with it as well. So like, okay, what do we need to do here?
Yeah, that someone makes the same mistake. Even if they tell you, they keep making the same mistake over and over again, and it's detrimental. It's like, hey man, maybe it's time I bring in someone else. Love you to death as a person, but something's not clicking.
Yeah, Melissa, what are you thinking on this?
Yes, usually when people come to me, I'll say in work, I'm like Seth, where I'm glad you did. Thank you for letting me know. Now it's just time to go into problem solving mode. Now, if it's repetitive, yeah, I'm a little bit slower to just hop on that bandwagon to get toward the solution. Because now the solution is not just about solving that problem. Now it's about solving that person's problem on why this is a repetitive issue. So it's a little bit different conversation at that point. And I would actually say I haven't really encountered that too much in my career. Not to say that it's not happening, but maybe it's more of the superintendent that deals with it more than I would. Um, but now on a personal side, me too with my daughter, she seemed to figure out. Actually, I don't even think she needed to figure that out for whatever reason, but yeah, she know how to lie. Like I found that crazy. Like I got to teach you math, I got to teach you how to read, write, but I don't have to teach you how to lie. You just do that naturally. So, so yes, I get to work with her on being a safe space and letting her know you can tell me the truth, but you've got to tell me the truth. And she's like, I won't get in trouble. I said, I can't promise you you won't get in trouble, because if you did do something bad, you will get in trouble. However, I do need to know the truth, because if you don't tell me the truth, now that's added trouble on top of the trouble you're already in. So yes, those conversations are a little bit challenging, but for the most part, I am always grateful. And for some people, like some friends, when they tell me the truth, or they tell me something that's a little bit vulnerable or difficult to say, usually my response will be, well, thank you so much for telling me that. Thank you. Because I would not have known had you not shared that with me. So usually it's great gratitude.
Yeah. I had a situation with my daughter where she broke her computer and she tried hiding it from us and then making excuses and all those things. And then I found out, like, had you just come to me, like it was an accident. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that you lied about it is now what you're actually getting in trouble for. And it was her birthday weekend. So I took away her phone, and she hated that because she was having a party, she was having friends, things like that. But it's like, look, it was a learning lesson. Like, I need for you to just come to me, tell me what happened. You actually wouldn't have gotten in trouble had you just told me what happened, but instead you decided to lie about it. And that was a choice that you made. And so then, therefore, there's consequences for that. Yeah. So now she comes to me about everything.
Yes.
We got Maria coming in as well. She said, happy Friday, VEAs. She also said that I like to tell my daughter, both of you are still working on growing your hearts and minds. Thank you for that, Maria. She also said, yes, I find there's a difference between transmuting and integration. Integration is hard. I think that's a good one to dive into. I want to see what Yesenia said here. She said, Seth, that works for both personal and professional. As we continue to grow and evolve as leaders, we are here to be the guiding force that in the most impactful way. And most people learn best in a positive environment. Seth, that approach works well for both personal and professional settings. As leaders, we must continuously grow and evolve to be the most impactful guiding force. Most people learn best in positive environments. So thank you for that, Yesenia. What do you guys think about those comments? So impactful in positive environments, and then also difference between transmuting and integration.
So I'm going to speak more on the positive environments part, because without going too deep, I didn't grow up in the most positive reinforcing setting. And because of that, instead of taking that in and becoming that person that the way I was raised, and becoming that person because of that negative energy, thankfully something clicked in my mind where I'm going to do everything I can to not be that. And being with being with two GCs now, both of them, quite a long time, 7.5, and now this one at almost 11. The first one kind of, it was a negative working environment. No one built you up. Everyone was always breaking you down. There was never a build back up. And then coming into Skiles Group, just a complete 180. It everyone, has your back. It's, I mean, of course you got to have them in your boat for, don't leave them out. But everyone has your back. It's just, I'm losing my train of thought here, but it's a completely different world, and just seeing the way a positive work environment does for people is it's a breath of fresh air. It's a night and day difference.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that too, Seth. Being able to be in an environment or work environment or even a project too, being on one of those projects where the project team themselves have a really strong synergy, which synergy is different from the positive environment. However, it contributes to it. So it's night and day, and it really is a breath of fresh air, especially if you've been in the industry for a while and have seen the shift toward a culture that's more embracive of lean construction pillars and respect for people. So it really is a breath of fresh air, and you start to see the team individually, each person on the project team develop in a way that they definitely wouldn't have had it been more of a toxic and negative culture. You can also start to achieve some of your project goals as you have set out to do so, rather than costing you more money and spending you more time. So it's extremely helpful.
Yeah. Byron is here as well. He says, Happy Friday. Glad I caught y'all live. So thank you for joining us, Byron. I want to start to wrap up today's conversation. And so we talked about a lot of different things today. We've talked about everything from the approach that we take and the external things changes that are happening, how we adapt to it, being able to identify the opportunities and whether they're worth pursuing or not, redirecting, letting go, as well as just how it is that our choices and the responsibility that we have, how we've impacted lives. And maybe, Seth, you could start us off with final thoughts of, as you're thinking about the things that you are dealing with in life or have dealt with in life, the things that people should keep in mind related to shifting their energy, and the things that you have found successful in making sure that we are letting go of the things that we don't need in life, and then also holding on and finding the things that we really want in life.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off with this statement that, you can spin anything that comes your way. You can take it negatively. You can take it positively. It's up to you. I'm going to start that there. But, I would encourage you to do whatever you can to spin something on its head that comes at you negatively and flip it into a positive way. Because not only are you going to feel better about what you are currently doing or what's coming at you, throwing you off your rails, you're going to feel better about it then. If you can spin it somehow, like, how is this actually going to benefit me or make me grow more? And then also, if you can do that, I mean, you're impacting yourself, but then you're going to see the impact that you're having on the people around you and what it's going to do for them whenever you're the person in the room that can just make sunshine and rainbows out of anything, out of anything coming your way, and they're gonna grow more from that as well.
Yeah. Melissa, your final thoughts?
Yes, I just try to continue to point myself toward um, having a heart of compassion toward people, but most importantly toward myself.
Mm,
Um, really uh, taking the time to sit alone by myself, having quiet time and in prayer, to really redirect and refocus myself to make sure that I can go out there and do exactly what Seth is saying. Because if I'm the one that want to get an attitude too, you get an attitude with me and I'm trying to buck back, that's not good for either one of us. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing, to just take some time for you. I know self-care is a trend, but it's also effective, apart from the fact that it's a trend right now. And therapy as well, that's getting thrown around more and more. It's extremely necessary and extremely helpful. So with those things too, I would say one of the other shifts I've made too is just remembering that, um, as cliche as it sounds, that I really am here to serve,
mm,
and not just here to, all right, let me go out here, let me achieve my goals, let me go out here and do what I want to do, let me make all the money that I want to make. But yet I passed up these people that could have used my help, or passed up this person, or didn't share my story here, or didn't lift somebody up along the way, or didn't inspire somebody or impact somebody. It was all about me. So just realizing when I leave my house to be on and having that mindset shift that, all right, cool, you can accomplish what you want to accomplish, but don't forget that you're also here to serve.
yeah. I love that. When I think about some of the things that you said, a couple of things come to mind. Yesterday, one of the other panelists said something that when we are dealing with individuals in work situations or personal situations, we sometimes have people that are super excited and we're super excited along with them. And so we're all giving love, we're giving the praise, we're positive with each other. And then you have individuals that maybe are not in his best of mood, and so you're getting a different type of energy from them. And one of the things she said is that you can either get, people that are giving love are giving it freely because they're in a mindset to be able to do that. The people that are not really need love. That it's, how do we make love, or how do we give love back to that person? They're asking for love when they're in that negative mindset. So it really helped me to think about some of the things that I'm dealing with, that I'm like, oh, okay, this person needs love. Like they're needing that extra. The reason that they're acting this particular way is that they're really just saying, I need to be loved. So I'm asking for love. So I think when we start to think about that in conversations, that can be really helpful. The other thing that I also reflect upon is sometimes I am a giver. Like I want to give, I want to help people. It also has gotten me in trouble as well. So I have to be careful with that as well, because I'm like, oh, I can help this person. I can change their life. I can do these things, and in an actuality, sometimes I'm not helping them to break the pattern of the things that are going on in their life. So I'm stopping them, and it's solving the problem in the moment, but then it happens again, then it happens again. So sometimes you also have to learn to be that disruptor. You have to be able to step back and go, look, this is the pattern that I'm seeing. And based on that pattern, that's something you need to reflect upon. Why is this continuing to happen in your life? And how can I help you? But how can I help you by helping you come up with the solution versus me being the solution for you as well? So so it's an interesting, dynamic of being a server. Sometimes we overserve. Sometimes we are also the problem. And so I've had to reflect upon that as well. And so I don't know. I just want final thoughts on how that might resonate with you guys, and then we'll shift into closing.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Oh, I don't often fall into over serving or doing too much. And that's probably because I'm letting my personality dictate a little bit more than it should. And I'm an introvert. Um, but I do agree that I have witnessed that, and somebody on the other end was the one that could be far more along the lines of enabling for me. So yeah, I could for sure see that. And even me, sometimes when I'm thinking about when you talk about serving, I think about being a blessing to people. And sometimes I'm like, yeah, I want to do it all. Like, sure, I'll pay for your college tuition. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You still got student loans. So just being the right gauge for understanding where to put that heart and put that compassion and point all of that. So I do agree with you, Sarah, though, that there is some discretion involved.
Yeah, I agree as well. As a superintendent, whenever I'm building something, I have it in my mind the way it should go, and I have an assistant superintendent, and I got to be able to let them grow into their own person. And it's really hard not just to give them every answer. Like, I got to let them, not let them fail, but I need to let them make those little mistakes that, don't have huge repercussions on the job, just so that they can learn from it. Because once they get off on their own and they never learn those lessons, it's going to be far more detrimental to them than whenever you could have had it happen in a controlled environment, So it's for me, I do have a hard time not going, well, here's the answer. Like, there you go. Not, hey, what do you want to do? And then let them tell me and go, okay, that would work. Probably not the way I'd do it, but give it a shot.
Yeah. Well, I love this. We talked about so much today, and I really want to thank you both for joining me today and letting me be a part of the party that you guys were already having. And so it was great getting to know both of you on a deeper level and just hearing your thoughts today. And I really appreciate you joining us. Thank you, everyone. We had a lot of people joining us today, so thank you for that. We also had Heather join us. She said, sorry, I'm late. No worries. Heather, thank you for joining us. Byron also said, early morning routines are also a strong start to a positive day, in my opinion. I like that, Byron. And so thank you, everyone, for joining us. And again, thank you, Seth and Melissa. And everyone have an amazing, badass weekend. And hopefully this fueled your weekend and you have an amazing start to your Monday as well. And we will see you next week as we start a new law. We're going to be focusing on the law of relativity. So you want to come back and check out and see what that law is all about. So be sure to check out and see the advertisement that comes out and what the law of relativity is about. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a great weekend.
See you.